Hi all, this is a system I've put together using a Phantek case. CPU is an i5-4570, which is socket 1150. Graphics card is a Gainward GT1030 with 2GB of vram. Now the important factor is that card is the ddr4 version, not the ddr5 version. There is a considerable downshift in performance with the ddr4 version, so that's something you need to take into account depending on what games you're going to play or what software you're going to run. Now I've also added an SSD and a mechanical hard drive for programs and storage. So I'm not going to benchmark some of the less taxing games like Valorant and Team Fortress. What I want to do is load up some games that will really tax this system to the max, just to see if we can get some performance out of that GT1030 ddr4 graphics card. So what I'll do first of all is run the in-game benchmarks Heaven and Valley, and then just run a few games that will test this system out. So first up is the results for Valley without Bandicam recording, getting a score of 1039, and with Bandicam recording, score of 924. And on to Heaven without Bandicam recording, a score of 860, and with Bandicam recording, a score of 770. So what that translates to is a downshift of roughly 11% when Bandicam's recording. So you probably expect that in the games when I start running them. So let's get on with and load up some games and just see how well this system performs. On to Apex Legends. Now I've capped the frame rate at 30, but Bandicam's showing a pretty stable plus 30. I've got a lot of the effects switched off or set to minimal, and the resolution is probably about the middle setting for this game. I'm sure that rate will go down once a firefight starts, but there's a few of my teammates moving on screen. It's outside as well, but yeah, it's not too bad. So Apex Legends I think is definitely a pass on this system. Now I would show you a clip of me playing Doom Eternal, but unfortunately as soon as I started Bandicam to begin recording, the game crashed, so you'll have to take my word for it. Rather surprisingly, with everything set to minimal or the on-off flag switched to off and the lowest resolution and the resolution scale set to 80%, the game was very playable. So if you can restrict it to 30 frames per second, you can definitely play that game, and it was in quite a busy area. So I would say Doom Eternal is a pass, but it needs a lot of adjusting of the settings and make. So again, I tried to start Forza Horizen 4 with Bandicam recording. The game refused to start, so obviously it was too much for this system. So what I've done is I've run the in-game benchmark, and this is the resulting screen, lowest resolution and everything set to minimal. Now I set the target at 60 frames per second and we're getting 48, so if you want to have an experiment, so those graphical quality settings to get them up a touch, feel free. But that video memory has been exceeded slightly on this system, so that's something to take into account if you want to play this game. That's Forza Horizen 4. Similar to Forza Horizen 4, I thought I'd run Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Everything's switched off, all the minimal graphical settings including the resolution, and I ran the in-game benchmark, and this is the resulting screen, so an average of 29 frames per second. So I would think this is playable, but in the busier open areas that frame rate will probably go down. So it's up to you if you want to try it, but probably get better results on the games before this. So that's Shadow of the Tomb Raider. So just to sum up then, I've run the graphical benchmarks Heaven and Valley, showing the difference between Bandicam recording, Bandicam not recording. But unfortunately, in some of the more taxing games like Doom Eternal, it just wasn't possible to record an in-game video. So what I did is I talked through the results either by running the in-game benchmarks or just with, as with Doom Eternal, just explaining the performance. Now you can be sure that games such as Team Fortress 2, Valorant, Fortnite and Csgo shouldn't have any problems running those on this system. So if you've got any questions, just drop me a comment below. Thanks for watching and don't forget to subscribe.